Hello boys and girls, welcome to another grinding video, another spot breaking. The series that I kind of stopped doing like 2 months ago just because I was bored of grinding, and now that I came back to Black Desert, I feel like grinding again. So today's area topic will be Pila jail. I spent almost 10 hours here, I believe about 9.5 hours grinded, and mostly I'm just going to be discussing about money per hour values, like always, no experience, no nothing. I'm basically trying to get as much money as possible out of a spot. That's the point of this series, to stack as many buffs as I can and see which area is the best one for my personal grinding style, I suppose. So normally for this series I try to get a Caphra blessing for 20% extra drop rates, loot scroll, normally the 50% loot scrolls, so the normal ones, which was the case for today. And then if I feel like investing in a node, I do that. For today I didn't invest in the Pila jail node, so that one was level 0. And also for drop rates, if I can use the Arsha server, I will. And for today, since we have the 50% drop rate event for the Black Desert anniversary, I considered that 50% drop rate to be the Arsha buff. So as a short recap, I have a 50% loot scroll, a Caphra blessing, and the Arsha server as drop rate buffs. Normally with this, from the past areas that I tested, I expect to make about 100 plus millions per hour to actually consider the spot to be, worth it. Looking at what previous spots offered me. If you saw the thumbnail for this video, you already know about how much I made, but let's just start the discussions. So my class, I started this on my Mystic, and about halfway through I continued with my Guardian because I kind of rerolled to Guardian in the end. And so the test is 50-50 Mystic and Guardian grinding. Both of them have about the same AP, so around 265 AP with a TED KAGTUM, which is more than enough honestly for this place, but still, that's the gear I had. On my Mystic, I actually wasn't necessarily one-shotting the packs. With some skills it was one-shotting, with other skills I had to use 2 skills per pack, but in terms of a clearing speed it wasn't much of a difference between the classes. On Guardian, yes, I was able to one-shot the packs. In fact, after I rerolled, before I got to actually buy the awakening weapon, I went to Pila jail just to poke the monsters with 160 AP, and that was already enough to one-shot the packs with my Guardian, so I was already impressed by her amazing damage potential. Still, let's start from the beginning. I would like to start rolling the screenshots at this point, and before those go on the screen, I want to mention that I have 4 storage maids, and I did use them to the full potential. I used the 4 storage maids in the beginning to move some of the trash items to the Valencia city storage, because one of the issues that I found for Pila jail is that you don't necessarily have a spot to leave your camel or horse close enough to drop the trash items on it without being bothered. As you will see throughout the clips on the video, I granted the main rotation here. I believe it is the main rotation in any case, and on this specific rotation I actually have to go all the way up the stairs to the entrance into Pila jail to be able to drop trash loot onto my camel, and because of that sometimes I considered, I couldn't be bothered, and so I opened my storage maids to move the trash into the Valencia storage to avoid weight limit issues. So with the screenshots already rolling, I believe the first 2 hours were grinded on my Mystic with the awakening weapon, and then the next 1.5 hours or so I switched to my Mystic Succession to try that one out, as you saw a couple of days ago on that video. And after those, I believe I grinded another 1 or 2 more hours on Mystic Succession. I tried to stay on the Succession to test it out even more and see if I can in the end enjoy grinding Mystic Succession, and honestly I really didn't feel like it was my playstyle, and seeing how I played Mystic enough to not get that excited about the Awakening tree, and the Succession tree didn't feel, exciting enough. I decided to finally take that chance and, reroll to Guardian. I did mention a couple of videos ago that I liked Guardian, but I didn't see it as a class I should reroll to just because there's too much to transfer. This time, I rerolled for free, not spending anything. I decided to go for the route of selling all of my weapons into the marketplace, extracting all of the Caphra Stones from my weapons, something that I tried to avoid for so long just because you lose so many of them, 15%. And in the end, I sold all 3 weapons. I sold a lot of Caphra Stones, which I kind of regret a little bit because nowadays they went up in price. And slowly I bought the 3 TED weapons for my Guardian. I have now 261 main weapon AP, 265 Awakening AP, which is basically as close as I could get to what my Mystic had. And I am a happy Guardian main, and I'm actually enjoying the class more than I expected to. I already started grinding for another video, if you can believe that. So after I rerolled to Guardian, I continued grinding the rest of the hours until I believed I was, close to my 10-hour limit. That's how much I tried to spend on a spot, and then I ended the test. Now, I would like to also mention that on Mystic Succession, my weapons would break before the 1 hour mark, so I switched from moving trash with my mates to using something that someone recommended in the comment section, something I can't believe I didn't think of myself, which is to use my 4 storage mates to repair my weapons. I would put the 2 weapons, the Awakening and the sub weapon, with 2 storage mates into the bank, then use an alt in Valencia to repair the weapons, and then the other 2 storage mates to take the weapons out and continue grinding. Once I switched to Guardian, I did the exact same thing, with the difference that my Guardian can actually grind 1 full hour before her weapons break, so I would typically do this with the made repairs after each individual 1 hour session. Now, I believe that's about it in terms of grinding and, the grinding related stuff. If I missed anything, actually let me think about it a little bit. Oh yeah, this place drops a lot of scrolls, so I believe you might need a decent amount of inventory space, unless you plan to combine the scrolls into Pila scrolls, which I personally did, because you do get a lot of scrolls. My average was about 22 scrolls per hour with all of the drop buffs that I had, so if you don't want to combine the scrolls and just simply sell them to the marketplace, you will need more inventory space than I have. If you do combine them, we can probably pull about 3 or 4 hours before you have to actually go into Valencia and repair and also drop the items in the bank, but more or less that's about it. As the last thing to point out is that one time when I went into Pila jail, I accidentally let my camel die to monsters. I didn't think it would die that fast, and without a camel, it's kind of hard to, you get out of trash and it does weigh you down, and so basically after 1 hour of grinding, I struggled to even finish that 1 hour. I had to go all the way back to Valencia to revive my camel and then come back once again. So don't kill your mount. Besides that, I believe that's about it. In between, in each 1 hour session, since the trash does weigh quite a bit, I would often go all the way back to my camel to drop the trash items and then return to grinding. So that's more or less it. Now let's talk about the numbers. So numbers wise, I'm gonna begin with trash per hour because I didn't mention it properly, I believe. My average was 7.7 thousand trash per hour, which I should point out my Guardian felt like it was a little bit faster than my Mystic. One of the sessions that I did check out had about 8.1 thousand trash from my Guardian, so If I were to say, I believe my Mystic's clearing speed was maybe 7,500 average, and my Guardian's clearing speed was 8,000 trash per hour average, and combining the two classes it was 7,700. Besides that, what makes most of your income here, first of all, a third of your income will come from trash and other stuff that becomes trash silver. There are some daily quests here that you can pick up, and I did pick those up when I could. Some of them give you ingots, which again some silver, but again trash is about 1/3 of your final income. The second third of your final income, if I can find it, it's scrolls, Pila scrolls. As I mentioned, you get a lot of those here, 22 of them, 22.5 average per hour. On some hours I actually got close to 30, on others a little bit less. It's RNG, but average 22 scrolls per hour, which is quite a lot. I don't think I've seen any other spot so far that drops so many. And then the other third is basically everything else, excluding this crescent ring, which is here just to make the price for the Iona fragments. So the last third of your income is Caphra Stones, Iona fragments, Black Stones. You don't really get any of them. I would say you get 1.4 average per hour, so not really worth mentioning. Some Black Magic Crystals, I got 4 of them in the 9.5 hours spent here. Compass pieces, petals, and you can see them right here, basically everything else. My final income was 775 millions, which is about 81 millions per hour after including the marketplace tax. Without it, it's 89, but nobody really cares about this number. So in my case, it's 81 millions per hour. Compared to other spots that I tested before, like Blood Wolves, which is always for me over 100 millions per hour, I would say this area is decent income. Sadly, it's not for me. The income isn't enough to justify the fact that it's all the way out into the desert. I need to bring my camel. It's far out into the desert. The travel time is quite huge. I need to go to Valencia if I want a proper storage for it. It just doesn't feel like a spot I would grind convenience-wise. The AP for me wasn't an issue, although I can see it being an issue for people who have maybe 200, 220 AP with a KAGTUM. I don't know these days how easy it is to one-shot monsters, although for my Guardian, as I mentioned, 160 AP, Awakening AP, seems to be enough to one-shot monsters, but for other classes it might vary. I don't know these days how Succession compares, because I didn't really see it for most classes. Maybe with Succession most people can grind here without any problems. DP wise, the monsters don't seem to hit that hard. Rotations wise, I know from the past that you can find at least 3 rotations here that are usable. I'm pretty sure this spot got an increase in the monster respawn rates a couple of months ago, whenever the other spots got buffed as well. So I'm not sure if you will have problems with respawn issues, but on the current rotation that you saw in this video, there were times when I would overclear the rotation and the monsters would just about spawn in time. So if you grind on other rotations and you can clear as fast as me, about 7,700 trash per hour, then I kind of expect other rotations to maybe not be as good. Besides that, I believe that's about it. 2 months of not making one of these videos. I hope I didn't miss anything. If I did, as always, please leave a comment, because other people will, correct me and point out what I missed. And as my closing statements, I would like to say that for this particular series, where I'm hunting to see which area offers me the most income for my current gear, I will say Pila is not a competitor whatsoever. Even SHEREKHAN Ruins was better. So with that being said, thanks for watching. I will see you with the next one. As I said, I already started grinding for the next area, because for once I'm actually enjoying grinding, because Guardian is such a relaxing class to grind with. It reminds me a lot of my Wizard, where I don't really need to stress out over combinations and skill rotations and whatever. I just simply press whatever feels right. So I will see you in a few days, and until then, stay happy and goodbye.